Hello everyone, welcome back to my second channel, welcome back to Jack in the Books. Today we are talking about some very exciting books because look what just arrived! This is the Booker Prize 2023 shortlist. This is as big as it gets. The Booker Prize is a literary prize which spotlight and celebrate diverse, interesting, provocative, inspiring works of fiction. Every year, 13 books make the Booker Dozen longlist, and that is then whittled down by a panel of judges to just 6 books. So, this is the Booker Prize shortlist. I am a Booker Prize super fan. So many of my favourite books come from the long list and short lists of the International Booker Prize and the Booker Prize itself. Books like The God of Small Things, books like The Promise. I love to take the Booker Prize recommendations and read them, and often they end up becoming my favourite books of the year. So I am super intrigued to see which of these books is going to tickle my pickle. So the thing that is extra special and extra exciting this year is so crazy, but I, even like saying it out loud is so silly and ridiculous to me, but I'm so buzzing. It's exciting because this year I'm actually going to be hosting the official Booker Prize live stream. This is crazy, and it's all thanks to you guys and your support on my videos, and that's just such a career highlight for me. It's going to be such a special evening. I can't wait to take you guys along for the journey as well and give you a bit of a behind the scenes of the Booker Prize in a way that hasn't really been done before. So it's going to be live streamed on my main YouTube channel and the Booker Prize YouTube channel on the 26th of November. So you've got a little bit of time too if you want to try and make a dent in this shortlist and see how many you can read, so that we can all come together on the 26th and speculate about who we think is going to win. I'm super excited because not only am I going to read all of these books, I'm also going to get the incredible opportunity to interview all of these authors. So I am going to be coming up with as many questions as I can, but also let me know if there's anything you would love me to ask any of these authors. But that's all happening at the end of November. I'm ecstatic and it feels so surreal, but for now, let's have a little look at the shortlist. So the note that I have from the Booker Prize Foundation says, please find enclosed copies of the Booker Prize 2023 shortlist. The chair of the judges said of the shortlist, together these works showcase the breadth of what world literature can do while gesturing at the unease of our moment. They are vibrant, nervy, electric. We hope you agree. Happy reading. It will be happy reading. I also hope maybe there's some sad reading, because I love me a sad book. You know, like happy reading's all well and good, but sometimes I want some sad reading too. So this is the shortlist, and let's dive in. So the first book is by Paul Harding, winner of the Pulitzer Prize, and this is This Other Eden. A testament of love so real it could make you weep. Speak my freaking language. Speak my language. As soon as the word weep is on the cover of a book, I'm like, right, let's go. Mess me up, destroy me, please, thank you. Okay, let's see what the blurb says. Set at the beginning of the 20th century and inspired by historical events, This Other Eden tells the story of Apple Island, an enclave off the coast of the United States where waves of castaways in flight from society and its judgment have landed and built a home. Benjamin Honey, American Bantu Igbo, born enslaved, freed or fled at 15, aspiring orchardist, arrived on the island with his Irish wife Patience and discovered they could make a life together there. More than a century later, the Honey's descendants remain, with an eccentric, diverse band of neighbours. Then comes the intrusion of civilization, officials determined to cleanse the island, and a missionary schoolteacher selects one light-skinned boy to save. The rest will succumb to the authorities' institutions or cast themselves on the waters in a new Noah's Ark. Okay, so lots of Bible imagery here. Full of lyricism and power, This Other Eden explores the hopes and dreams and resilience of those seen not to fit in a world brutally intolerant of difference. Okay, so I think this is going to be all about displacement and the concept of home and who gets to decide what a home is and who is entitled to call it home. I think that this is very fascinating, especially as we start to think of the way that different places were colonized. You know, countries being discovered when people very much already lived there. Like, you're not discovering something where people already live. You're colonizing it. A luminous, thought-provoking novel, impresses time and again because of the depth of Harding's sentences, their breathless, angelic light. Sounds so good. Okay, so that is Paul Harding's This Other Eden. Next, we have Study for Obedience by Sarah Bernstein. It won the Granta Award for Best of Young British Novelists in 2023. And of course, as we now know, it made our shortlist. So, one of the year's best novels. You don't so much read a Sarah Bernstein novel as get trapped inside it. Precise and startling, exhilarating. Again, sign me up. A young woman moves from the place of her birth to the remote northern country of her forebears to be housekeeper to her brother, whose wife has recently left him. Soon after her arrival, a series of inexplicable events occur. Collective bovine hysteria, the demise of a ewe and her nearly born lamb, a local dog's phantom pregnancy, a potato blight. She notices that the local suspicion about incomers in general seems to be directed with some intensity at her, and she senses a mounting threat that lies just beyond the garden gate. And as she feels the hostility growing, pressing at the edges of her brother's property, she fears that, should the rumblings in the town gather themselves into a more defined shape, who knows what might happen, what one might be capable of doing. With a sharp, lyrical voice, Sarah Bernstein powerfully explores questions of complicity and power, displacement and inheritance. Study for Obedience is a finely tuned, unsettling novel that confirms Bernstein as one of the most exciting voices of her generation. Wow. Okay, so actually there are kind of some... Maybe I'm getting some similar themes between these two, maybe, in terms of thinking about belonging and communities. And on one hand, with This Other Eden, we have a community that already exists and intruders enter. And then Study for Obedience is thinking about what it's like to be the intruder, essentially, to be in a kind of different environment, and in this case, feeling kind of out of place when joining a community. And I think that brings up interesting ideas of power, right? Like, which communities have power, and therefore when you enter it, are you made to feel powerful or powerless? And in this case, it seems like the intruders feel powerful, and in this case, they seem powerless. So that's gonna be really interesting to read those two books and compare them. Next, we have Prophet Song by Paul Lynch. Surely one of the most important novels of this decade, says Ron Rash. Wow, that is high praise indeed. I believe Paul Lynch is an Irish author, and you know, I do love an Irish novel. In fact, my favourite book from last year's longlist and shortlist was Claire Keegan's Small Things Like These, which you know I have been talking about ever since. And so I'm really grateful to the Booker Prize for bringing that one to my attention. And let's see what this one is about. On a dark, wet evening in Dublin, scientist and mother of four, Eilish Stack, answers her front door to find the GNSB on her step. Two officers from Ireland's newly formed secret police are here to interrogate her husband, a trade unionist. Ireland is falling apart. The country is in the grip of a government turning towards tyranny, and when her husband disappears, Eilish finds herself caught within the nightmare logic of a society that is quickly unravelling. How far will she go to save her family? And what or who is she willing to leave behind? Exhilarating, terrifying, and propulsive, Prophet Song is a work of breathtaking originality, offering a devastating vision of societal collapse and a deeply human portrait of a mother's fight to hold her family together. One thing I love about Irish books is you always learn a lot about Irish history and the kind of political happenings in that country on a political level, but then you also get these really tender, deep, and moving family portraits and personal anecdotes and stories and character studies. Irish authors have such a great ability to put like one person under the microscope and really study them. And this is described as a monumental novel and the work of a master novelist. So these all sound so good. I don't even know where to start. Where do I even begin? One place I could begin is with this one. This is The Bee Sting by Paul Murray. And you may have seen that I actually made a video on this channel where I took a quiz that was on the Booker Prize website of like, which of the longlisted books should you start with? You know, you had to answer some questions about your personality and what you like in literature, and then it recommended one of their books. And this is the one that I got. This is the one that I matched with. And actually that video, among some other things, were what led me to being asked to host the live stream this year. So you have to put yourself in these positions sometimes. Like, I think that is so testament to like, if you are sharing your passions, talking loudly about the things that you love, sometimes opportunities will find their way to you, but you have to be in it to win it. And I think you kind of increase your surface area to be lucky by talking about your passions. I feel so lucky, but I think you increase your surface area to receive that luck by sharing what you genuinely love. And so I hope that kind of motivates you to also be sharing your passions and being loud about them, shouting about your passions from the rooftop, you know? Anyways, this is the book. This is the bee sting. The Barnes family is in trouble. Dickie's once lucrative car business is going under, but rather than face the music, he's spending his days in the woods, building an apocalypse-proof bunker with a renegade handyman. His wife Imelda is selling off her jewellery on eBay and half-heartedly dodging the attentions of fast-talking cattle farmer Big Mike, while their teenage daughter Cass, formerly top of her class, seems determined to binge drink her way to her final exams. And 12-year-old PJ, in debt to local sociopath Ears Morin, is putting the final touches to his grand plan to run away from home. The present is in meltdown, but the causes lie deep in the past. If you wanted to change this story, how far back would you have to go? To the car crash 12 months ago before Cass was born? To the infamous bee sting which ruined Imelda's wedding day? I see. See what you did there? Or do you need to go all the way back to Dickie at 10 years old, trembling before his father in the garden, learning how to be a real man? Is it possible that a single moment of bad luck set in motion everything that came after? And does that mean the fate of the Barnes family is already sealed? They are facing a reckoning. If they can't change the past or rewrite the story they have already lived, is it too late for a happy ending? What a blurb! Wow, what an interesting idea. It's kind of like the butterfly effect of how one decision ends up causing this ripple effect. Kind of in the way that I was just talking about, how like making that video led to a series of events that led to this happening right now. So, you know, that's a really interesting concept and one I'm intrigued to find out more about. This is probably this is the longest book on the shortlist, 636 pages. So we're gonna be with this one for a little while, and I'll be working my way through it, and I will let you know. I'm going to do a video where I talk about my reviews of all of these books as well, which I think will go up the day after the Booker Prize, just because obviously I'm going to be interviewing everyone. Obviously I want to maintain that like professionalism and not have expressed my favourite to win like before the event, so I think that will go up a day or two after the Booker Prize, and I'll also share some vlog footage of like the behind the scenes of the behind the scenes. So better. Anyways, the next book is this one. This is Western Lane by Chetna Maru. A beautiful and moving first novel about grief, sisterhood, and a teenage girl's struggle to transcend herself. I'm always buzzing when I see a debut novelist get on the Booker Prize shortlist. It's just, what an achievement, man. Like, that is just incredible. 11-year-old Gopi has been playing squash since she was old enough to hold a racket. When her mother dies, her father enlists her in a quietly brutal training regimen, and the game becomes her world. Slowly she grows apart from her sisters. Her life is reduced to the sport, guided by its rhythms, the serve, the volley, the drive, the shot, and its echo. But on the court, she is not alone. She is with her pa. She is with Ged, a 13-year-old boy with his own formidable talent. She's with the players who have come before her. She is in awe. An indelible coming-of-age story, Chetna Maru's first novel captures the ordinary and annihilates it with beauty. Western Lane, can we just talk about that? Captures the ordinary and annihilates it with beauty. Wow. Western Lane is a valentine to innocence, to the closeness of sisterhood, to the strange ways we come to know ourselves and each other. Give whoever wrote that blurb a raise. Give them a pat on the back. Wow. Terrific, a bold book and a quietly brilliant one, says The Economist. Beautiful and wise and deeply human, the sense of magic delighted me and will stay with me, says the Irish Times. A gorgeous debut, says the Times. Wow. High praise indeed, and I will let you know what I think very, very soon. And then last but certainly not least on this shortlist, we have If I Survive You by Jonathan Escoffery. Marlon James describes it as kaleidoscopic, hilarious, revelatory, like nothing you've read before. I actually went to the launch event of this way back in January or February. I remember thinking, that sounds incredible. So I'm very excited to finally be getting around to reading this book, because I've just seen it go from strength to strength and gain so many fans over the course of the year. So this is what it's about. You want a home. You want to win back your girlfriend's admiration. You want to prove that your father bet on the wrong son. 1979, Topper and Sanya flee to Miami as political violence consumes their native Kingston, Jamaica. But they soon learn that the welcome in America will be far from warm. Trelawney, their youngest son, comes of age in a society which regards him with suspicion, greeting him with the puzzled question, "What are you?" Their oldest son Delano's longing for a better future for his own children is equalled only by his recklessness in trying to secure it. As both brothers navigate the obstacles littered in their paths, an unreliable father, racism, a financial crisis, and Hurricane Andrew, they find themselves increasingly pitted against one another. Will their rivalry be the thing that finally tears their family apart? Jonathan Escoffery's thrilling debut, If I Survive You, pulses with inimitable style, heart, and barbed humour while unravelling what it means to carve out an existence between cultures, homes, and paychecks. It announces Escoffery as a chronicler of life at its most gruesome and hopeful. Wow. Okay, so I loved The Vanishing Half, which is about these two sisters whose lives totally kind of diverge and then intersect and reconverge. And I thought that was really interesting to think of two people coming from the same set of circumstances, the same upbringing, and then seeing how their lives can totally differ. You know, so when I think of my brother, like we grew up in the same house and our lives are totally different. And so I'm intrigued to see brother relationships depicted in a novel. I definitely haven't read enough fiction coming out of Jamaica either, so I'm really excited about that. An elegant meditation on belonging from a powerful new writer. A debut so brilliant it stopped me in my tracks. Astonishing, says I newspaper, not me. We'll see what I have to say when I read these and review them all, and I'll let you know who my favourite to win is, and we'll get to see who takes home the Booker Prize on November 26th. I can hardly contain my excitement. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you to the Booker Prize for taking a chance on me and giving me this opportunity and for sending me these lovely books. I'm so excited. This is the best. This is the best. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for making my dreams a reality. I love you to the moon and back, and I'll catch you very soon. Bye-bye!